Ed Reardon's Week by Christopher Douglas and Andrew Nickolls. Episode 4, Our Man in Berkhamsted.
Monday. If there's one thing I've learned in my career, it's that if you hope to stay the course as a writer, you need to be able to ride the disappointments, take the heady highs with the crushing lows, the peaks of the Lake District with the troughs of the... Where are the troughs? The fens, they're pretty flat, aren't they? Yes, the fens. 2 such troughs came in this morning's Post. A charity appeal claiming to contain a free pen, but palpably containing nothing of the sort, so they can whistle for their deed of covenant. That's how they woo potential donors. What kind of treatment, one wonders, do they mete out to the starving millions they claim to help? Sorry, matey, we forgot to put anything in this food parcel. You've just chased the helicopter for nothing. Another form of frankly mendacious packaging, promising much but delivering zero, is the programme for the Berkhamsted Festival of Literature. An oxymoron, if ever there was one, offering 5 days of ideas, good talk and comedy. Why do we have to have comedy everywhere? If I want comedy, I go to my shelves and take down a P.G. Wodehouse. I do not need to stand in a tent with mud up to my ankles, listening to some idiot who can't pronounce the letter R, asking me have I ever noticed what it's like in a supermarket. Tell you what I have noticed, Elgar. There is a complete and utter lack of prose and poetry on the programme of events. Stand-up comedians, television chefs...
You have email.
Do I, Joanna? I'm sure you'll be there with your celebrity gardening tips. Ah, a note from my literary agent. Can you, spelt you naturally, rehearse at 10 tomorrow? Mega important, we start on time. Hugs, ping. The rehearsal in question is for arguably the least literary of all the Berkhamsted Festival's events, The Music of Milvain, in which Jazz Milvain, the legendary Hollywood director, or overpaid hack, shares his musical passions with a little help from his band. Although I wouldn't dream of forking out the £17.50 for a ticket to this self-publicising schmaltzfest, even if it does include a free frozen yoghurt, I am unfortunately in no position to refuse the £30 fee for taking part.
Okay, thanks, Ed. Enough of the jug already. Ping, have you got my running order?
Running order? Yeah. Oh, is this it?
No, that's my diet sheet.
Right. I'm sure I've got it there somewhere. Oh, hi, Sophie.
Waste of time me coming, Frank.
Shut up, this is the best gig we've had for years.
Yeah, 30 quid and all the frozen yoghurt you can cram down your cake hole. Woof!
Pay attention, you bunch of geriatrics. So, then I'll tell the story about Harrison Ford wanting to meet Muddy Waters and me flying him down to New Orleans in Spielberg's private jet. You getting all this, sweetheart?
Yeah. I'll have to call you back, Sophie. Okay, bye. So, does that song come after your anecdote thing about how you turned down Jaws?
Well, I was only one of several people offered it.
And it was Jaws 3.
The one in 3D where the shark jumps out the screen at you.
Yeah, but only if you've got them special glasses.
Yeah, you've got to get...
Shut up.
And before that, you're going to do that song about what that guy said to you.
What guy?
The delivery guy that you're really, really good mates with.
Who?
I think she means my very good friend the milkman. Keep up, Jazz. You're not going to get very far with my fellow citizens of Berkhamsted. They're a smart bunch, you know.
Right, OK, we'd better rehearse that again. Go on, Reardon, you can blow your jug now. Do something creative with your mouth for once. All right. What's that?
Broken my tooth. It's fallen in the jug. Listen.
Typical. Always got to be the centre of attention.
Ed, I've got this really, really brilliant dentist. You've got to go to him.
Oh, thanks. Where is he?
Boulevard Haussmann, Paris.
Oh, how very handy.
It's brilliant, right? Because you can do all your shopping in the morning first and saves you beaucoup de wonga.
Here you are. Bit of chewing gum. Shove it in a Gap Pro Tam.
Thanks, Frank. I'll let you have it back.
Ew.
Excuse me, what's this rehearsal for? The Berkhamsted Literary Festival or an evening with Ed Reardon? And where are you going with that jug?
Waterloo International. Where do you think?
Can't seem to find your file. How long is it since you came in for a checkup?
Since before it stopped being called the dentist and became Oral Solutions.
That's ages ago. We only keep them for 5 years.
Oh. I see you've still got the photographs of the Australian wildlife. You managed to hang on to them, but not my dental records.
We're not taking on any new NHS patients.
Well, I'm not a new patient. I'm an old patient.
All right, you over 65?
No.
Then we can't help you. Tell you what, though, I read on the web that there's one in Burnley that's taking them on. It's not definite, but if you
My
look now-
professional livelihood is at stake. I'm a writer.
Oh, you write with your teeth, like those people who paint Christmas cards with their feet?
No, not like them. I use my teeth to grip my pipe, without which I not only cannot write, but my pipe will clatter uselessly to the floor, or that bit of it that's not occupied by Christmas card contortionists.
It's illegal to make fun of people's disabilities, and our staff will not tolerate it, or swearing, or hooded tops. Look, it says on the notice by the Wallaby. Next!
This is an emergency. Can't you suggest anything?
There's a newsagent next door. You can get some more chewing gum.
Fortunately, next door but one to Oral Solutions was a branch of Toothache Solutions, otherwise known as Threshers, where I was able to anaesthetise the pain from my throbbing mouth with barley wine, competitively priced at 3 for 2. So I bought 4, or rather 6, which also alleviated the journey home aboard the crowded 519.
Yeah, excuse me, sir. You're travelling in a first-class compartment, but you've only got a standard-class ticket.
There's no room out there.
Plenty of space between carriages, standing or slumping, as you prefer.
I'm neither sufficiently young nor sober, I'm afraid. The last time I sat on a floor was at a Julie Felix concert. Sorry, I just replaced my filling. Daddy's taking us to the zoo tomorrow.
Name, please, sir?
Julie Felix, I just told you.
No, your name?
Dr. Fisher of Geneva.
Geneva in Switzerland?
Yes, and it's Herr Doctor to you.
Well, you're probably not familiar with our ways, or the ways of Midland Main Line. Nevertheless, I shall have to charge you the full fare plus a £10 penalty fare.
Excuse me, is there a problem with Dr. Fisher's ticket?
That's really most kind of you. I'd love to be able to offer you a drink, but alas, I've only got half a barley wine. I could wipe the top.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Now that he's gone, I think it's safe to say that my name isn't Dr. Fisher.
And you probably haven't spent the last 5 years working as a missionary in Haiti, losing your faith along the way.
Yes, I'm afraid I lifted those details from the pages of Graham Greene.
I know.
But like him, I am a writer living in Berkhamsted.
I teach him for a living.
But he's dead, isn't he? Or is that John Mortimer?
I mean, I run a course on 20th century literature at Warwick. Oh, seem to have finished your drink. Here comes the trolley. Can I buy you one?
Wendy Craig and Julie Felix?
Well, according to my mate in the television in the 60s faculty.
He put it about a bit then, Sir John. Now he has trouble putting his socks on.
Some women find writers very attractive.
I suppose I do have that in common with him.
What, putting it about a bit?
No, having trouble putting my socks on. Except that I don't get paid a fortune for going on about it all the time.
But yes, but you're still a freelance, living life at the sharp end. I find that completely admirable.
Oh, thank you.
Berkhamsted is the next station stop.
Station stop. What's wrong with station? Or even, dare one hope, railway station?
Anyway, it's your stop. Aren't you going to get off?
I was just wondering that.
Sorry?
Well, I could stay on till Tring, seeing as you're paying, if you don't mind.
Why not? This is much more interesting than Anita Bruckner. Oh, I see. There's a Berkhamsted Literary Festival.
Yes, I'm afraid it's the usual dismal horde of Z-listers plugging their ghost-written novels. God knows what Graham Greene would have made of it.
So they haven't asked you to take part, then?
Oh, yes, they've, wrote me in to do something or other in the big tent by way of an alternative.
Oh, what?
Oh, you know.
Is it a Q&A?
No.
I bet it's a one-man show.
Well, it's certainly that. Something of a burnt-out case, you might say.
So it's about Graham Greene. Oh, how fab.
Well,
I'll certainly come and see that. When is it?
Well, I do have to put a script together first.
Oh, you writers, always leaving everything to the last minute. I love that.
Wednesday. Rather like Graham Greene, working his passage by running guns from Nicaragua to Liberia, or Spain, or wherever it was, I too used my native cunning to hitch a lift back from Tring. I realised that in order to further my promising relationship with Dr. Elaine Drysdale, I was playing a dangerous game, weaving a web of deceit, by claiming to perform a one-man show about Graham Greene, rather than merely blowing a jug for the greater good of Jasmine Vane. And I wouldn't even be doing that if I didn't get my teeth fixed pronto. There's no more chewing gum either, Elgar. Rats. Of course, Martin Amis only has to write his name on the steamed-up bathroom window of his Tuscan palazzo for some 12-year-old publisher to offer him £500,000 to get a set of bespoke choppers. But out here in the real world, in order to earn the price of an easily chewable meal, a writer has to lecture insubordinate pensioners every Thursday at the University of the Third Age.
Well, now, with the Festival of Literature coming up, why don't we look at the works of Berkhamsted's favourite son?
Who's that, Noel Edmonds?
Graham Greene, of course, and his lifelong preoccupation with resolving the conflict between the material and the spiritual. Tell me what you know about that.
I'm letting my house out, that's how I'm resolving it. You want to get as far away as possible from Berkhamsted at festival time?
Oh, no, I thought I'd make some cakes and sell them outside the festival tent. I might meet a writer or two.
No, that's very unlikely. Jamie Oliver, possibly, telling you where you were going wrong with your baking.
Oh, I'd have him for me tea. Pucker.
Just to return for the moment to the subject of writing.
You'd make more money out of letting your property than you ever would out of your books.
That's true. I've got Mariella Frost uptake in the annex. £700.
Ooh, really?
You could get your teeth done for that.
I've got Mr. Sulu coming at the weekend. Going to be reading his Klingon dictionary.
Is he beaming up?
He's beamed up his 200 deposit, I know that. I've had to give up my ensuite, obviously.
So, anyway, if we're a bit hazy about Graham Greene's crisis of faith, does anyone have any, I don't know, funny stories about him and Berkhamsted that I could that we could discuss?
You have one message.
Oh, who's this?
Hello, Ed. It's Elaine Drysdale from the other day.
Ah.
Are you there, or are you busy putting the finishing touches to Our Man in Berkhamsted? It's not a bad title for your one-man show, is it?
No, not if I was actually going to do it.
Listen, I'd really like to bring my students down to see it, or maybe help bump up your first-night audience by a few dozen. They're all really excited by it.
Oh, no.
But if you'd rather it was just me, then that'll be fine too.
Oh, God.
Actually, I think I might prefer that too. When you know, can you let me have a date? For our date?
So, why do you want to do a show about Gordon Brown, is it?
Graham Greene. Well, he was one of our greatest authors, in whose Berkhamsted footsteps I'm proud to follow, and to whom I now hope to pay my own small tribute.
Cool. So what did he, write?
Well, The Third Man, among other things. You must have seen that, Ping.
I don't know, was it a sequel to The Second Man or something?
No, at least I don't think so. Anyway, it's one of the greatest British films ever made.
Better than Love Actually?
Much, actually.
Oh, light bulb. If you're looking for a venue for your gig...
Yes?
My friend Sophie, had this brilliant party in the sewers underneath London Bridge Station, and they're, really clean now. No smell of poo at all.
Enticing as you make that sound, Ping, I probably need a performance space slightly closer to Berkhamsted, where the festival takes place.
Thing is, Ed, it might be difficult to get you on anywhere else now. Everywhere's pretty full at the festival, yeah? Like the Music of Milvain, a total sellout.
Very appropriate, just like Jazz himself.
Ed, why do you want to do this so much? These kind of gigs never make money, and that's all you ever talk about.
Well, Ping, sometimes art can be its own reward.
Ah, so there's a shag in it for you, is there?
No! Ed, if you can't blow, get off the jug.
Sorry, right. Fine now, I just swallowed my chewing gum.
Look, this isn't just some Sunday down the boozer.
You're not kidding, we've never rehearsed before.
This is an important event. We've got a documentary crew following us, a guy from the New Yorker coming.
Told you, he thinks he's Woody Allen.
Well, similarities are quite striking. He's not nearly as good as he was either.
What?
Oh, I'm just saying that if you did want to give this exercise in vanity and self-promotion a shred of literary authenticity...
Swallowed the dictionary as well as his Wrigley's.
I'm doing my festival diary for the Independent, so that's covered.
Or, how about if I were to do some readings between the numbers?
Yeah, how about if you didn't?
Especially if they've got the letter S in them, we'd be right up the creek.
Once upon a time. No, just bear with me. Graham Greene, who, as you may know, went to school here, was a great admirer of Dixieland jazz.
Not interested.
So, I thought that in the frozen yoghurt breaks, I could read them some highlights from his books. I call it Green and Blues.
How long's that going to make the show?
Doesn't matter, because we're not doing it.
Yeah, it's all right for you, Ed. Some of us are going to get back to Leatherhead.
Can we have a lift back in your limo, Jazz?
No, I've decided to stay over, actually.
Aye. I sense Nookie on the horizon.
Leg over on the port bow.
So, once more from the top, everybody.
I hope you've booked somewhere, Jazz, otherwise it's a bench on the towpath.
Thursday. Despite Jazz's strenuous denials, the consensus among his fellow musicians was that the lucky lady in question was the director of the fly-on-the-wall documentary about himself, and no doubt to be watched only by himself, on whatever cable channel would be sufficiently desperate to show it. My own romantic intentions towards Elaine Drysdale were further proof that the festival circuit is more to do with a meeting of loins rather than of minds. I've no idea with whom Mr. Sulu intends to share his rented ensuite, but I'd be prepared to put money on its not being Mrs. Sulu. Look at you, smoked salmon all over your whiskers. The reason I'm able to contemplate throwing money around like this is because Jazz gave me £500 in 20s for the sole and exclusive use of my flat to expedite his Berkhamsted bunk-up.
I always thought if I hadn't been a dentist, I could have been a writer. So what kind of books do you write, Mr. Reardon? Oh, yeah. Now, if you like reading, my advice would be to take yourself down to the library, fiction section, go to the letter S. Neville Shute. Not only Australia's greatest novelist, but I reckon he'd give anyone a run for their money. Shakespeare, give him a bloody fright. There's a town called Alice, on the beach, no highway. Oh, did I say a town called Alice? And Steve Moore's cricket tour diaries are a good read. I've got all 18 volumes of them. Bloody good photographer, too. And he never lost the ashes. You know, if Tugger had chosen to be a dentist, the rest of us would be out looking for a job. No, there's nothing Stephen Roger War can't do if he puts his mind to it. Why are you mumbling like that? I finished a while ago.
No, well, I'm just doing this because it's easier than talking to you. I pay out there, do I?
Yeah.
Right, thank you.
Oh, geez, you'd think if I gave someone a new tooth, they'd have a bit of a nicer mouth on them.
I say, you wouldn't consider letting out your waiting room to me, would you, for a literary performance at the festival?
Sorry, mate, I've got a couple of Aussie mime artists coming in for the week. They're pretty good, too.
Oh, my favourite.
Do yourself a favour and catch Melbourne's answer to Marcel Marceau. There's a pile of leaflets out at reception.
Thank you very much.
Hey, did you ever meet Geoffrey Rush? My Uncle Reg lives next door to his mum.
Tickets, please.
There you are. And here's the £10 for my first-class supplement, all right?
Certainly. I'll give you a receipt. Dr. Fisher, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, there you are. I'll be able to claim that back at Geneva University.
Zurich, actually. Dankeschön.
Ed! Hello! Did you get my message?
I did, but then my cat, in a fit of jealous rage, pressed erase with his paw, and you were lost to me till I saw you through the smoked grass.
Yes, you've got a ticket this time, have you?
I have. And what's more, I'd like to repay your kindness, not in anything as vulgar as cash, obviously, but in miniatures of... What is that? Is that gin?
Yes, and vermouth. I'm making martinis. Will you join me?
Certainly. Shall I go and empty the trolley?
No, the thermos should keep us going till Watford Junction. So, have you been to a 3-bottle publisher's lunch?
No. I've enjoyed a no-bottle afternoon's research into Graham Greene at the London Library. It's my London home.
Oh, that's what all writers say when they're interviewed. All those country novelists.
They probably don't actually sleep at the London Library, which is what I do. You go right to the back of the medieval section, 3rd floor, where they keep the records of the plague victims. 2 shelves up from the top. You can use the steps to get up there. Nobody ever bothers you.
Well, nobody at all? Not even David Starkey?
No, he gets it all off the internet. I spent a whole week there once after my wife kicked me out. Best Christmas I ever had.
So, how's the script for your show coming along?
The script continues apace, but still no venue as yet.
But I thought you said you were in the big tent.
Yes. Did I? In order to keep my hopes of a relationship alive, I was forced to make a confession. Something Mr. Greene and his merry crew of left-footed heroes found as easy as falling off a log. But for me, whose station in life often forces swinging economies with the truth, the process was rather more painful. But once I come clean about blowing the jug in the big tent, the burden of original sin was lifted from my shoulders, if only for 2 minutes.
Plays in a jazz band, one-man shows, poker with Martin Amis. How are you going to squeeze little old me into your schedule?
Oh, I'll find a window, I'm sure. This is just neat gin we're drinking, isn't it?
It's lovely, isn't it? What time do I have to turn up?
Now, the band starts playing at 7:15, so 7 o'clock if you want a free frozen yoghurt.
No. I'm not terribly keen on sweet things. No, I meant for our man in Berkhamsted. I do hope you're calling it that.
Friday, I managed to stall her, quite neatly, I thought. Pinning down a venue, I averred, was trickier than arranging a meeting with Harry Lime. But luckily, just as I was about to put my shoes on and go and ask the Greek hairdressers downstairs, stylish looks for the modern man, if they had a 45-minute gap between appointments on Tuesday afternoon, a deus ex machina descended into the proceedings.
Hi, Ed. I've got some good news and some bad news, yeah?
Yes, Ping?
Well, good news is I found you a place to do your one-man greenie thingy, but I'm not sure it's going to help your knobbage prospects. Well, they're only paying 75 quid.
Oh.
Mind you, I just bought some really, really sweet flip-flops for 75 quid. Jangly ones with shells all over them. They make a noise when you walk. Can you hear them? Listen. That's them.
Yes. Ping, I don't understand. What's the bad news?
Customers arriving from London.
How much are those muffins, pal?
£2.50 each.
Are they all the same?
No. The honorary consul has blueberries in it. The third man breakfast muffin comes with whipped cream. And then there's travels with my aunt.
What my agent had negotiated for me was, in every sense, a platform performance. Nevertheless, calculated on an hourly basis, promoting the Burko Bakery was one of my better-paid engagements of recent months.
Muffins.
Hello, it's the man in the white suit.
Oh, no.
What are you doing dressed like that?
I'm in character. I'm Graham Greene.
Well, you look like a prat.
Look, I'm trying to work here, so just go away.
Well, can't we buy one of your muffins off of his tray?
As long as you've got the right money, because I haven't got any change.
What's this one?
Well, that's the power and the glory.
Why is it so expensive?
Because it's double chocolate chip, really. I'd have thought an imbecile could have worked that out. Could you just make up your mind, please? There are other customers at this station. Stop.
The next train to arrive at platform 1.
The engagement did admittedly involve some erosion of personal dignity, but I was pleased to see that I had many more takers than the other Graham Greene lookalikes selling sticks of Brighton rock. Moreover, the £75 in cash would also enable me to show Dr. Drysdale, if not a good time, then at least a better one than she was likely to have listening to the music of Milvain in the big tent.
Thank you very much. Oh, it's hard work, this, isn't it? A lot harder than Halloween 16, for which I got paid an obscene amount of money for doing very little work. By this stage, they were directing themselves. But it did give me the chance to meet a very sexy lady indeed, who you might have heard of. Jamie Lee Curtis, of course, who I fell in love with very deeply indeed.
Do we have to listen to this, Ed?
No, let's go and get a drink. Czech lager this way, cider that way, Cossack vodka straight ahead. Depends how wet you want your feet to get.
Oh, Cossack, I think. But should you be drinking?
Well, none of us should, I suppose, but there's not much point in living otherwise.
Well, I know that. I was just thinking of your show. When does it start?
Well, we'll just do another couple of numbers, and then Jazz says how much in love he is with someone else. Sylvester Stallone, probably.
No, I mean you're Graham Greene.
Oh, that.
Why are you being so cagey about it? What time does it start?
Oh, I'm not doing it.
What?
Well, I've done it.
When?
This afternoon.
Why didn't you tell me?
Anyway, you wouldn't have enjoyed it. It was all very...
You mean I wouldn't have been able to understand it?
You wouldn't have been able to understand the point of it, no.
Why, was it postmodern or something?
Well, there were muffins involved. You don't like sweet things.
Right, so you're saying I'm an ignorant alcoholic.
Can you keep your voice down, Reardon? There are people here trying to enjoy anecdotes. Yeah. And careful, love, he'll try to seduce you with one of his muffins.
What is this about muffins?
I'm sorry, it's just that the show was a ghastly embarrassment, and... Look, should we just bunk off and have some dinner?
Look, isn't that Mr. Sulu over there, in the sports jacket?
Yes, he's on after us, promoting his little book of Klingon gardening tips or whatever it is.
He's done a book? Oh, how fab.
It's literature, Elaine, but not as we know it.
Too much of the incident where the male gorilla, Louis, lit 2 post-coital cigarettes and suffered first-degree burns. That's showbiz.
Wednesday. A writer has limits beyond which he will not pass, and mine fell far short of the £12.50 in earth money it would have cost to boldly escort Dr. Drysdale of Warwick University to a world of split infinitives. But we did agree to meet for dinner, and of course drinks, in the near future, whereupon I went home. My second home, that is, my first being already occupied by that paramour of the stars, Jas Milvain. It was late closing at the London Library, and I was able to make myself comfortable on the history of the Ottoman Empire, quarto size, my usual shelf being occupied by what from the back looks suspiciously like the sleeping form of Arnold Wesker. Still, first come, first served. Thursday. A glorious morning in St. James's Square. Perfect for a stroll down to the Embankment for a free cup of soup. But then I remembered someone at home might be hungry too, as I'd forgotten to leave Jas any feeding instructions for Elgar. Anxiety overcame parsimony, and I forked out for a standard single back to Berkhamsted.
Me.
Hello.
Oh, it's you. I didn't recognise you.
Without my clothes on.
Without a drink in your hand, I was going to say.
Ouch!
Sorry, was that a bit...
No, I stepped on a bit of dry cat food. I fed it, by the way.
He's called Elgar.
Nice name.
What are you doing here?
This is my flat. Or it was when I last paid the mortgage 3 months ago.
Well, I paid for the room. No hotel in the world would kick me out before 11 a.m.
Look, I'm sorry, Ed. Jas had a spare complimentary ticket to Mr. Zulu.
He's an old mate. We saw his show and one cling led to another.
Are you very angry, Ed?
Not angry, Elaine, just disappointed.
You nicked that from Brief Encounter.
No, I didn't.
You can't even think up your own dialogue at a time like this. Just can't let Graham Greene go, can you?
It's not Graham Greene.
Yes, it is.
Noel Coward.
Noel Coward? What did he know about this sort of thing?
What sort of thing, Jas?
The sparks that fly when a man and a woman desire one another.
Oh, you watched one of your movies on television, then fell asleep.
It's the thought that counts, though, isn't it?
I'd better get dressed. Ed, I'll have your robe cleaned and send it back.
No need. I'll take it to sketch this. Got to get the jam off the white suit, anyway.
Blimey, I'd go back to Noel Coward if I were you. Do you have to smoke that thing in here?
I will in my own house, thank you.
Ed, are you still on for dinner next week?
Oh!
Yes, sorry, that was a bit,
No, it's my new tooth. It's just fallen out. Bloody ex-convict. Oh, where's it gone?
Cat's had it, look. Naughty.
Ed Reardon's Week starred Christopher Douglas, with Stephanie Cole, Simon Greenall, Philip Jackson, Rita May, Geoffrey McGivern, Barunka O'Shaughnessy, Dan Tetsell, Alice Lowe, Sally Grace and Geoffrey Whitehead. It was written by Christopher Douglas and Andrew Nickolls. The producer was Simon Nicholls.